Are you ready?
What were they gonna?
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to make a motion to start this meeting. Megan, can you do a roll call?
Yes, Mosby. Chair Kennedy, are you excused? Basusa. Councilman excused. Vice Chair Kellner.
Here.
Chair Mazera. Director Coker.
Here. All right. Will everybody rise and we're going to do the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Megan, do we have the meeting minutes from the April meeting? Okay, so we will review those at the next meeting. So all of you that are here, if any of you are going to feel like you might be speaking at some point, I would like you to stand and take an oath. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Thank you. Megan, are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
We will start with BZA case 062023, 935 Timberman Road. Is the applicant here to talk about it?
Yes. Hi.
Can you state your name?
Oh, sorry. I'm Andrea Sywinski. We are at 935 Timberman Road, and we are applying for side yard variations or variance. Sorry. To extend our existing garage structure. It currently does not fit my minivan in it, and so we are unloading and loading our 3 kids in a car seat on the street. And we would like to have a safer place to load our kids and not have to get them in and out in the rain and the snow, and just have like more safety and comfort within our yard and being able to get in our house with our kids as they grow, and then also just accommodate things that they might need as they get older, having space for their bikes and just their various yard items. So that's all I have. Unless there's anything else?
Director Felber, can you give us the staff report?
Absolutely. I'll walk you through a little bit. So the site on Timberman near Copeland, there's a street and an alley. The garage faces a rear alley. It's pretty narrow. The existing garage, there's some photos that I provided where you can see the kind of relationship between the house and the garage, and also the garage next door. That image there that's on the screen, you can see kind of how close the garage next door is. And then the next image down, you can also see the reasonable side yard down next to the garage that I believe the strategy being undertaken will preserve. So that's good. Site rises a bit from Timberman, it's flat at the alley. Nothing too much to note in terms of public facilities and things like that in the area. In the pre-meeting with the building department, Bob, feel free to chime in if I want to get this wrong, but the existing garage is block, which has an adequate fire rating, so 1.6 inches from less than 3 feet, has a 1 hour fire rating. The existing garage has an overhang. The new garage, when it's extended, will be able to have an overhang. So we're recommending that the existing garage be made to match, so the gutter can fall all along there. And then, there may be, those are code requirements, there may be a reason to kind of want to keep that symmetrical without touching any of it. The lot is 46 feet wide, which is compliant. It's slightly smaller, 95.8% of what would be required for a compliant lot in terms of square footage, 750 versus 6,000. The applicant, and thank you for providing measurement between the garage and the garage to the northwest, is 5'2", a reasonable access distance there. The garage is only 18 feet deep, 20 feet wide with 18 feet deep, so adding 8 feet will give it good functionality. Will actually allow a normal car to be parked in there. Our normal parking space and depth is 19 feet, which so the existing garage doesn't actually comply in that way right now. Anyway, the size is compliant. There's no windows or anything proposed on that side. There's plenty of access to the rear yard maintained. So we really have we support the applicant's request for, essentially the addition. I think we would welcome the board's input on this, because I didn't actually have aesthetic review on here, but it could be a condition of some consideration for how the addition is done could be considered under the variance request. With the eave on the one side not being able to be provided, whether the other eave. And then also, I couldn't remember if we talked about if you guys were gonna reside.
Yes,
the whole
we're gonna
garage.
side the whole garage to match the house.
Awesome. So that answers that question. And then I also noticed that on the plans that's submitted, there's no trim around the window and door. I'm guessing there probably will be if you're residing. So just also suggesting that those things might be considered by the board for approval, and then in general, the approval can be granted on the basis of the practical difficulty, obviously, of the existing garage being where it is. So that would be our recommendation.
Right, and I need to go back and say this to everybody. So you can see that there are only 3 of us board members here tonight, so it takes 3 board members giving an approval or to approve a project. If any one of us votes against a project, then that project will not be passed. So usually there are 5 of us, so we have 2 more people that can possibly say no. So if at some point you feel like you want to table your application and wait until we have more of our board here first for you to hear it, then you are welcome to do that. You can just let us know and you can table it. So I just need to say that to everybody so that since it's really right from us. May I ask one question? So the CMU block wall on the existing garage, for the fire rating, does that need to extend to the new garage construction also?
New garage is called out on the drawings as a 1-hour firewall on that side.
But it doesn't necessarily, you don't
You can do
care
it
if
on
it's
wood as long
CMU.
as it has bright on both sides.
Okay.
There's all the people in the work. The people hide it. They do not check it. And then,
I was just seeing that the drawing does have the overhang marked off. But, okay, so.
okay.
Yes, if you are making modifications to the overhang on the one side, you still intend to keep the overhang on the other side?
I think we're gonna make it symmetrical.
Okay.
I think we left that on the drawing. Person who actually does our contracting is in Florida until like right about now, so we haven't discussed all of the gutter overhangs yet with them.
But then the trim, as Director Culver said, is gonna match
Mhm.
what's on the existing house.
Yes.
Okay.
And that goes for the roof, for the shingles as well, to match the house.
Yes, we're gonna match. Well, the garage just got new shingles before we moved in July 2020, so we're gonna match what's existing on the garage, which I believe matches what's on the house.
Oh.
I think that you do have an existing hardship and that your garage is so close to the neighbor's garage and you really cannot park in your garage. So I see that as a valid reason for requesting variance. I appreciate that you are adding some similarity from and some architectural interest to the garage from just being a block garage. And then do you have any other comments?
Since this is another aesthetic view, but could that just be a condition that the trim, looking at the siding, the match the house, but a condition of subject to city review? Then I will make a motion to approve case 06/2023, 135 Timberman Road. For the variance variance from regulated planning and zoning code section 115302E to reduce the side yard setback from 3 feet to 1 foot 6.5 inches, construct a 20 by 8 garage addition to the existing garage.
I second.
Subject to final review by the city in regards to trim
Okay,
around the windows and doors along the side.
all right.
I second.
Susa?
Yes.
Calman?
Yes.
Denosky?
Yes.
Okay, you're approved.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Did you say thank you?
Thanks for coming. You're welcome. Moving on, second case of tonight is BZA case 07/2023, 1400 Inglis Avenue. Is anybody here to speak about this project?
Brenda Parker, the architect.
Okay, so this house is at 1400 Inglis. It sits on a corner lot. It fronts onto Inglis and it has Avondale on the east side. The owners wanted to do a 2-story addition. It is a super skinny lot compared to what's required for a typical corner lot. So we set it back 8 inches per the guideline and doing a standard lot. That if your sidewall is non-compliant, that if you're 8 inches and at least 4 feet back. So we kind of follow those guidelines. In lieu of, it's supposed to be a 10-foot setback because it is on a second street. So, and then on the west side, we're taking the addition to within 6 feet of the property line. So since the east side of the existing house sits so close to the property line and we're taking it to 6 feet, we're also asking for a total side yard reduction. I forget what those exact numbers are. I think 12 feet to 9'6" for the total.
Yes. Director Felber, do you want to give us the staff report?
Yes. I pretty clearly shared there, and again, this lot, as many of them on the corner lots, they're mostly in RS2 sized like all the other lots, but the zoning code requires larger both square footage and setback, leading to many of the buildings really that we have existing having similar kinds of challenges as this one has. And since I believe since we talked, we added the total side yard. We can just really identify the side yard on the street side originally, but then as I was writing the staff report, discovered the other variants as well. So they're both on the agenda and in the packet. And we're moving through the photos, you can kind of see that the site rises a little bit, pretty much straight from the sidewalk, fairly abruptly rises away from the sidewalk. The third photo down, the next page there, Megan, shows how the site steps up. There's a little retaining wall and a fence there, and some landscaping and a landscape bed. As indicated on the drawings, as I explained, that will just be cut back to the degree that it needs to be, and then reattached, if you will, to the new rear of the addition, and the steps that you see there will essentially be moved over and be fairly similar to how you see them now. And is that all correct
That's correct.
so
Yes.
far?
Mhm.
Okay, so the lot is not 100% square, but it's 34.97 at its narrowest point versus 60 feet that would be required in RS2 for a corner lot. It's 4,702 square feet versus 8,200 for a corner lot, so only 57% of the required size. However, when the addition is installed or built, we'll still be under lot coverage for that smaller lot at 37%. The variances really are for the existing home because a new home is within that. So it's the side yard variance is actually not caused by the new construction, it's caused by the existing home. The total side yard being less than required is an existing condition as well, but it's 11 feet versus what will be in the new configuration will be 9'6". Fairly uncomplicated. The addition is a handsome design. It seems in keeping with the design guidelines. No, we take no exception to anything as submitted there, and recommend approval pending any other considerations by the board.
If I can ask, is the existing fence staying as is, or will there be a new fence?
It's staying as far as it can until they have to take it out for the addition.
But once the addition's done, are they?
They're gonna reinstall it, yeah.
Do we need to address the fence on the corner lot?
It's an existing condition that from looking at the drawings, what it appears is, I mean, as an existing condition, maybe it would be ideal, maybe if we did, although it feels like it's probably, it looks to be designed in accordance with where we want to take it for a fence on a corner lot. And it is an existing, it's an existing condition, it's not.
But are they taking the whole fence down and they're gonna rebuild the fence?
No,
Oh,
just where the
section.
addition's going.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry, I thought you were taking the whole fence out.
No, they're gonna access from their rear yard because of that steep hill. They can't get their equipment up that hill.
Okay.
I suppose, you know, I'll say at the board's discretion, you could choose to consider the existing fence. The condition of the fence falls within essentially review by the board, not that there's necessarily a variance there, but it's required as review.
Is, I guess the concern there is that just ensuring that it goes back where it was, correct?
Right, unless it, and the only reason I ask is if the fence is coming down, but they're gonna rebuild the fence, then it would need a fence permit. Unless it's had prior BZA approval, then we can't issue a permit until it's been on a corner lot, a fence has to go to the BZA. So that's what I was just wondering, if, you know, but if it had previous approval, which I never checked, I just noticed that now, if it had previous BZA approval, then it's good for the property forever, so.
I feel like given the fence's height and location on the lot, how far it's stepped back from the sidewalk, it seems to be a shorter fence than other ones that are in similar locations, because there's a number of those slightly hilled lots in that area, and the fence seems shorter and also stepped back further. So if that is the case, and it is remaining where it is, and most of it staying, I personally would not necessarily, I would be okay with allowing it to stay where it is. Would the rest of you guys agree?
Well, we don't have to do that because
Yeah.
it is staying. So basically, as long as they don't remove that post, I mean, you know, I'm assuming the house will come out to close to where the post is, then it's basically a fence repair. You're gonna put the boards back up.
Right,
Right,
they are
versus
the
the fence.
moving the gate to, because where the stair and the gate is now is where the addition
That's
goes, so
gonna shift down.
we're moving that
Right,
down,
so
yeah.
that part will be fine. So the fence, as long as the fence is not being replaced, then we don't have to be concerned.
Yeah, I think it's clear that the lot's extremely constrained, and you've done a good job to consider how to best work with the lot. And I think it's understandable. What is being asked? I think, yeah, just the fence thing, I think is clear enough, but just making sure that it goes back to the same place it was would be the only thought in my head of if we were gonna do any additional review, in our motion, that would perhaps be something I would consider.
I'll just read you the code section that applies so that you're clear on it. In a condition such as this, as I'm reading through it, I don't think it meets any of the criteria for review other than that it is a fence adjacent to a street or alley on a corner lot. And so there's no standard per se other than your review. So if you're, you could include in the motion approval of the fence to remain with the gate to be relocated and similar design features.
And Brenda, I know this is noted on the drawings, but I just wanted to confirm that the new sidewalk that is on the west side and the back patio are all gonna be permeable, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just have to ask a dumb question, I'm sorry. I know you had to set the 8 inches setback, so I'm familiar with why you did that. But I'm curious of why the other side just doesn't line up with the existing wall versus,
It's just about trying to maximize the utilization of the lot in order to get the program in without extending too far to the back. Because everyone still tries to maintain their rear yard space, so the more we can go to the sides, it saves us from having to push the addition to the rear.
The design guidelines also actually express a preference for not aligning, whether it's a set in or a set out. Just so that you can see where the junction is between the two easily. We can't always accomplish that, but when we can, it's desirable.
No, I don't think I have any other questions. I think it's a tight lot, and I think that you're doing the best with what you have.
I'll motion to approve BZA case 072023 1400 Inglis Avenue. The applicant is requesting a variance from Grandview Heights Planning and Zoning Code section 1155.09A1 to reduce side yard setback from 10 feet to 3 feet 6 inches for an existing home in order to construct a new two-story addition to the rear of the existing home set in 8 inches from that line at 4 foot 2 inches from the east property line. And approval B, the applicant is requesting a variance from Grandview Heights Planning and Zoning Code section ZC 1155.02C2A to reduce the total side yard setback from 12 feet 0 inches to 9 feet 6 inches for an enlarged home in order to construct a new two-story addition to the rear of the existing home at 6 feet 0 inches from the west property line.
I second.
Denosby?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Callan?
Yes.
Approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, moving on to case number 3, BZA case number 08-2023, 1148 Virginia Avenue.
All right, my name is Eric Short, and I, along with my wife Elizabeth, are the owners of 1148 Virginia Avenue. We are applying to build a new garage to replace the existing garage that is in disrepair. There are 2 variances needed to build our new garage. One being that we only have room to build a single-car garage versus a 2-car garage. And secondly, we have measured the height requirement from the grade of the driveway, whereas the accepted standard would be the average grade. We are on a sloping lot, so the average grade, I believe, is 16 foot 4 inches. I think actually your staff notes might say 17 foot 6 inches, something around there. But I think we had calculated a little bit differently. But so anyway, that you would seek a variance to measure from the grade of the driveway for the 15-foot height requirement of the new garage.
Dr. Caldwell, will you give us the staff report?
Certainly happy to. So just moving through the photos, first image kind of shows you generally where this home is, a little bit north of Parkway Drive there in Virginia. You all are probably familiar with the slope of the land through there. Generally, it's all falling downhill going towards the east. Here's a shared drive. You can also get a little bit of sense of the grade. In the back of the picture there, you can see the existing garage, which is a single-car garage. So a driveway to a single-car garage, just pointing out that that's an existing condition. Again, with the conditions there, I will just note that, at least from Google, it looks like the tree lawn has yet to be graced with some trees, and we would encourage you to plant some trees out there.
It is on the list.
Awesome. Let's see, we checked public utilities. There doesn't appear to be any conflicts with the backyard. Sometimes when there's not an alley, there is, but nothing on our GIS. The existing garage actually sits in a non-compliant position on the lot. It's closer than would be permitted, and it is a single car garage today. The proposal will correct some of that. So it's covering the lot, it's angled a little bit. The rear line is narrower, it's 35 feet wide there versus 40 required. Almost compliant in terms of size at 5940 versus 6,000. Lot coverage will be relatively modest. The lots are actually a little bit larger. Many of them are in that 4,500 to 5,000 square feet. So 28.7% after construction versus 40% maximum, and the rear yard lot coverage will also be compliant at 36% versus 45%. The new garage will comply with all setbacks with a 3-foot setback from the side yard lot line and 5 feet from the rear yard lot line. It's also relatively small at 448 square feet. 526 minimum would be permitted, or maximum would be permitted, just based on square foot. I didn't actually measure against the existing house, but either way, compliant. As the applicant mentioned, the height of the garage is compliant essentially from the street, and the side yard and the rear yard are side and rear yards of other homes, so relatively speaking, the impact of the garage having taller elevations on those sides, relatively minimal in terms of any other public impact. With regard to the parking situation, again, it's an existing condition. The zoning code requires 2 spaces for each residence. You certainly can park on a driveway. You don't have to have a garage at all. What the code doesn't do is differentiate between stacked parking that might be appropriate in a single-family home where people can move the cars to get out of the way, and a multi-family property where that would be much more inconvenient or perhaps impossible. So given that this is a single-family home, no issue with the stacked parking. Applicant is not creating that condition that exists today. So we would, in both of these cases, for the height and the parking situation, the stacked parking, we would recommend approval. Really, no variances. Is a very handsome project. I appreciate the investment.
Thank you.
Does it have the measurements that will actually be on the variance?
So the height of the garage, we could talk about that. I actually just used Ruby to get a measurement of what I could find, but I didn't know if you were able to.
So my architect is Amy Lauerhouse, who was with me tonight. She did update previous to this meeting the height requirement using the average rate. If you wanted to see that, I only have one copy, but if you would like to see that, I'd be happy to show that. Oh, I'm sorry. There are multiple copies.
Yes,
No.
one for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this side shows the average rate calculation and the height in there.
So those
Do you want to
numbers-
declare this? Thank you. Is it to the minutes?
So these measurements would be subject to city.
Yeah, on a sloping grade like that, the building code references doing an average setback, or excuse me, an average height, so that you're not taking it from the worst point. So that would be typical of what we would do on other cases, considering whether it's a ground level or a basement, same kind of thing, so.
And Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the code is actually silent on how to measure that, right? You're saying accept is actually within the midpoint?
There is a section in the code that talks about the average.
Okay. Okay.
And
I was
again,
trying to remember back to our pre-meeting.
It's more in the residential, or excuse me, the commercial code when we're trying to determine whether the number of stories you have based on grade.
Oh, okay.
And so the building code takes an average.
Thank you.
So for our motion, we would use the 16 feet 4 inches.
In part A here, from 20 feet 1 inch to 16. 4, like, is that right?
Yeah, that's good.
Director Holder, we've been saying, we just haven't had one of the second story or like story and a half garages in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Were we saying previously that we were asking for the second story portion to be, to have a drywall ceiling across it? No?
Not necessarily the rafters being at 6 feet satisfy the building code maximum.
Okay.
Is that to serve as a storage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just storage for kid stuff. Right now, we actually don't park in our garage because it's full of kid stuff, and we like to put the kid stuff up in the second story. And,
Makes sense.
And then the fence. I'm sorry, there's the wrong case. There is no fence. There's the fence on the hill.
yeah, there's a fence along the southern border. That's gonna be our.
That's not for us.
I'm good. Yep.
I will, walk the plank. So, I make a motion to approve BZA case, oh, 8/2023, 1148 Virginia Avenue. To approve variance from Greater Heights Planning and Zoning Code, section 1153.02C, to increase the garage height from 15 feet to 16 feet 4 inches, to construct a new one-car garage with storage space. B, approve the variance from Greater Heights Planning and Zoning Code 1155.13A to reduce the required off-street parking spaces from 2 to 1 for an existing dwelling unit and the construction of a new single-bay, detached, one-story, uninhabitable accessory garage structure. C, for the variance to eliminate the requirement of Grandview Heights Planning and Zoning Code section 1133.0277 for the required off-street parking spaces which requires ingress and egress of such motor vehicle to the street or alley without the necessity of moving any other motor vehicle.
Oh, second.
Okay. La Souza,
Yes.
Denosby,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
approved.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I'll just give her 1 moment. The applicant has stepped out to take the phone call, please, the last applicant.
Okay. Yeah, so I forgot now. Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll let you know what happens. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
That's really fun.
Since you were not here when you I swear to tell the truth,
Yes. Yeah.
Can you
I
repeat
do.
after
Oh, I
me?
swear to tell the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
All right, and then when you stand up there, will you just give us your full name and address, please?
Melissa DeGraw, 1176 Grandview Avenue.
All right, would you like to give us an overview of the project?
Yes. So I literally just got a text from my dad. He's like, you need to get down there because the builder's not there. So I'm a little scattered, but I live right on the corner of Grandview and First. And I'm sure you guys have driven by and you can see that the fence is like this. So the fence is like falling down because it's on a hill. You know, the ground's like withering away. So I'm replacing the fence all the way around. So like First Avenue, alley, and then in between my house and then my neighbor's house.
Okay. And I should tell you that, since you weren't here earlier, there are only 3 of us that are present here today out of our usual 5.
Okay.
So per regulations, all 3 of us have to say yes to the project.
Mhm.
If any of us say no, then that project automatically does not pass. If you want to table your application to the next meeting, when there are more of us here, no matter what, there just always has to be three yeses to pass a project.
Okay, I appreciate that. So yes, I thought that this was all taken care of. So when I asked, I said, oh, I saw it's on the agenda today. Do I need to be there? They said, no, Adam, the builder's gonna be there. And then I guess there was some sort of, I just got on the phone with the person who's doing it. It was not Adam, it was Adam's boss. And I told him that I was a little ticked off, and he said Adam was gonna go, but then Adam decided not to come because I guess somebody was supposed to send me letters and let me know that I have to tell my neighbors. And I did not receive letters, and I don't know which neighbors to tell. So I figured I'm gonna come down here and just figure it out myself and figure out what I need to do.
Okay, so your neighbors have not been notified yet then?
I mean, I've talked to them just because I'm like, oh, guess what? The fence is gonna look nice.
So-
Yes, I don't know what I'm supposed to send them or who I'm supposed to send them to.
There's a specific map, basically a recommendation of neighbors that you are supposed to notify, and
Okay.
they are neighbors all around you, so across the street and probably across Grandview Avenue. It is available on the building website. So generally, you can either go door to door and notify them that your project is gonna be heard before the BZA, or you can send a certified letter to all of those people.
Do I write the letter?
You write the letter, and there's a form I can.
Oh, Oh,
I was gonna say, I actually worked directly with Adam early on. I sent him the notification form pre-filled out, all the notice people to fill out, who to notify. And, just the information, like the mapping and information, and he swore up and down that he was gonna forward my email on you.
Okay.
I even called like 3 or 4 times to make sure that notices went out. Unfortunately, in this case, Adam was the contact. And
It's okay. It's not your fault.
so just thought Adam received multiple emails to
Okay,
give you the information. So
Sounds like
just
I-
to share some
thank you.
clarity on that.
So he has like a letter? from-
Yeah, he has the
That I can
notification
literally
letter.
just print out 14 times?
Yep.
And
It's
he has
a,
the addresses?
It's a notice, the first form's a notice form that just says what you're doing, basically filling in some blanks. The second form allows your surrounding neighbors, they give the blurb explaining how they can comment or show up. And you would go door to door, you'd sign it, give them a copy of the notice, and then they'd sign the little spreadsheet that you've been
Oh, so it
notified.
gets signatures?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could do signatures, which is the cheaper option, or you could do certified mails. So if John Smith is in Florida, then you would end up doing a certified mail.
And I have to get all 14?
Yes.
Okay.
But,
I can interject.
yes,
This case was already heard in when? Long time ago.
The 1998 one?
Yeah. If you were to reconstruct it as it was permitted back then,
Okay.
you wouldn't need to come back home. Because it's already been heard and it would be consistent and that carries forever.
Okay.
So there's that option as well. In your case, which is not very common,
Just
we
as a
have the case
replacement?
files. What's that?
Because it's a replacement?
Yes, because it would be a replacement of a fence that has already been before the board approved.
Okay.
You want a copy of
Yeah.
the previous approval?
The fence
It's
is
within
slightly
there.
different than what your current fence is.
Correct. You're requesting a 6-foot fence, at least that's what it says in the application materials.
Okay.
And there's a slightly different, location for the, side of the fence against the alley where you're proposing it is where it actually exists today. I suspect that there was, you know, it's a minimal change, it's probably made with great department at the time. We're, you know, we have no objections to whatever might have happened then, but, I think a 6-foot fence would maybe not be supported anyway. So if you want to consider this, you could think about it and see if it meets your needs.
Okay.
Is I noticed the original showed a natural stone retaining wall. Is that not gonna happen? Or doesn't look like it's there now, right?
But there's no retaining wall.
Oh, okay.
It's not there in the minutes.
There's a retaining wall behind me in the alley.
On, he's referring on page 8 of the previous BZA approval.
You can see it on the plan, it's right here. It would be sort of the middle of the side yard. The minutes reference, if that is built, it has to be out of the right of way. So it was permitted, but it wasn't required to be built. It didn't get built. But this is a,
Oh, this?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Okay. Just wanna be sure.
I think, Director Polker, I think for our communication earlier, we could give our opinions, correct? Or,
You can give your opinions, you can't vote if it
Yes.
hasn't been noticed.
yes, correct, so we cannot vote if, since your neighbors have not been notified. But
Okay.
if you would like to hear our discussion about it, we can have a discussion.
Yeah.
So you can hear what our thoughts are.
Tell me, because obviously I'm lost at this point, so, absolutely.
So is your request to have a 6-foot tall fence that is, I think per your application, similar to this?
So that doesn't look like the fence I have right now. I requested, it's not to you, I requested to them like the exact same fence. And my fence does fold down on a couple different things, I don't think that matters to you guys. It should just matter when it stands up. The only thing that, so I'll talk to him about this, like if the 6 foot's gonna be a problem no matter what, I can go back and tell him, okay, even if we come back in June, they're not gonna like the 6-foot fence. Totally get that. Is it just on the, alley and First Avenue side, the 6 foot you wouldn't like? Because I think between my neighbor's house and my house, it's taller.
Yeah.
Is that okay? You guys would be okay with that?
It's permitted by code. It's not
Okay.
a BZA issue.
Okay. So whatever size the fence is on the alley and First Avenue, that same height.
4'4" is what's on the drawing. I drove by it just
4'4"?
now and I think that's probably not far off.
4'4"?
Yeah, the posts are a little higher, but the fence itself is fairly, I mean, you know, it's up on a hill, so you get all that angle from the street for visibility in is blocked because the sidewalk's down so much.
I'll have to measure, because I don't think I can barely see over if I'm standing. 5'7".
Might have got built taller than it was permitted, so you never know.
I didn't live there then. Okay, so, sounds like I will talk to my builder. What we need to do is as long as the fence can look like what it is now on both sides, so this side can be taller than this side. Are you guys okay if I pull it in a little bit since it's on the hill? Because I feel like no matter what fence is there, the ground just continues to like deteriorate because it's a hill, so I wanted to like bring it in a little bit. As long as they draw that out, that's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, being set further in is typically desirable.
I
If
mean,
you do wanna
maybe
go up to 5 feet versus the 4.4 that was permitted, you would need to come back.
Okay. So it looks like I have to measure the fence. And then maybe they can build on the hill and it's structurally sound, I don't know, I don't build fences. So, okay. And
Well, that's
then,
why the original one had the retaining wall.
the original one?
Yeah.
There's no,
Yeah, the thought was they put in the retaining walls.
They
so you
held the
wouldn't
fence.
have-
there you go. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing a retaining wall, so we can check that off. And then I will figure out why Adam didn't send me everything, but I can do my job in between now and then. When's the next meeting?
Second Wednesday.
There's June 23rd.
Megan, when does she have to send out notifications by?
The application is coming due soon. I don't have a date off the top of my head, but if you call me at the building and zoning office, I can give you information.
The application for what, sorry?
Oh, for when we have to, when you have to do the notifications.
Okay,
Because what we can do is we can, if your material's not gonna change, we can reuse your existing application information.
okay.
And I can just send you the modified notifications for June, if you choose to go that route.
Okay.
And you're looking at the June 14th. And I can give you proper notification dates, when I'm looking around.
If she were to make minor modifications like that correlate with this, can she add those to her documents?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
You can add any additional documents.
okay.
And if you stay at the 4'4", you don't even have to come back here. We can issue the permit without, if you stay at the 4'4", but if you want to go to 5 foot, then you have to come
Okay.
back.
Well, I think I have to measure the fence first and see what size it really is. I think it's 5 foot. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
I think it's
4'4".
higher than 4'4" as well.
Yeah.
But I'll check. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
The mail deadline is May 30th,
okay.
and the application deadline is May 23rd.
So you have plenty of time.
Okay. Okay, let me, I guess, work on stuff on my end. Sorry. Thank you.
Yep, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Have a good night.
All right, buzz.
All right, is there any other business?
No other business, just an update in case you're wondering. I have been in touch with the city attorney about updates to the rules and procedures, and it's just a busy time out there in the world. And we're getting close, not quite there yet.
Any other staff communications?
Oh, I suppose there could be this. We have put a notice, probably most of you know, or maybe all of you know, put a notice out for applicants to fill the vacant seat that there is now. Encourage anyone who you know who has appropriate experience to submit. You're always welcome the help.
Do you be a resident of
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking about leaving?
No, I just was like, I figured that was the case, but I didn't want to limit my search to a week.
Yes. You have to be a resident of Grandview, Marblecook doesn't count.
Okay.
And generally, I have to read the rules, I think that they're probably in the posting. But typically, I believe the experience needs to be in law, real estate, design, planning, civil engineering, all these related fields.
All right, if there are no other items, meeting adjourned.